Wall Street's fear gauge remains high despite a recovery for US stocks. Welcome to Market Insight. I'm Peter Devlin. Global markets appear too steady today after US stocks clawed back some of the brutal losses from Monday's mayhem. But the VIX remains at the highest level since 2022 on recession worries. The question for investors is a crash landing ahead. Joining me now to talk about all that is Victoria Bills, Chief Investment Strategist at Banrion Capital Management. Welcome, Victoria. Well, was Monday's sell-off an overreaction? And should we be bracing for more volatility in the face of every bad data point, such as last Friday's non-farm payrolls?
I think that's a point that we've been making ever since the start of the stock market. Every time there is some sort of negative data point or earnings beat metrics that are not in alignment with what analysts are saying, there's always kind of a short pushback reaction. But looking at the fundamentals, looking at the overall trajectory of the economy is what drives me and a lot of investors when we're looking at overarchingly how the economy is doing. So again, we can always expect these sorts of reactionary feelings, but it's important that when we think about the history of the stock market, for every bear market, there is at least a much higher return on the bull market.
So turning to Federal Reserve speak now, and we heard some dovish rhetoric from officials. It did help lift the mood. Will the Fed swoop in with aggressive easing to calm anxieties?
I think the Fed will not necessarily become more aggressive to ease any anxieties. I think what the Fed is going to do is very much continue their same process, which is to follow the data and follow the numbers. So Powell has always kind of been a champion of just following the data and making certain that the US economy is stable. So whatever rates that they had already factored in for September, I think that's what they will probably be doing, especially just given, again, a lot of the short-term shocks that have been happening, yes, have been impactful in the short term, but in the long run, I think Powell has a vision of making certain that the US economy remains stable overall.
So looking as well to tech stocks, and they suffered in yesterday's sell-off. Do you think this is an opportunity to buy or an unwinding of the AI trade getting more serious?
I believe it's definitely more of an opportunity to buy, whether that is in the tech sector or if we're looking at Caterpillar, for example. They were able to beat their earnings expectations by 595 versus the 555 that was predicted by analysts. I think, again, always focusing on fundamentals and the strong balance sheets or strong growth prospects of a company is more important than looking at I would say, kind of more of the shorter term trends. Some of the components that go into AI, some of those larger companies whether that's NVIDIA or even like Apple, for example, there is a huge play to be made in terms of how we're thinking about generative AI. So overall, I would say what a lot of people are doing in terms of this unwinding, it's more of an opportunity to buy and hold rather than an opportunity to run away.
Finally, Victoria, earnings from media giant Disney due to report tomorrow. Do you expect consumer spending weakness to weigh?
I think overall what we're seeing with Disney in particular, or some concerns, some things that we need to look out for Disney is definitely parks and amusement park revenue, also revenue from streaming. I would say that overall it'll be interesting to see, since they've been having sort of a down year in terms of amusement parks for the past couple of quarters, to see kind of if that revenue has come back up. And then as Disney continues to kind of improve a lot of their factors in terms of streaming revenue and continuing to kind of partner with other organizations such as Hulu and creating those bundling packages, it'll be interesting to see if streaming revenue will go up. And overall, I would say, again, a lot of what we're seeing from the mouse and the media giant is making certain that those fundamentals continue to come out strongly in the balance sheet and in the revenue numbers.
Victoria Bills at Banrion Capital Management. Thank you very much for your thoughts. That is your market insight. You can watch more videos on Reuters.com.